So allow me to first define exactly what I mean by fat. I'm not one of those people who say like, well, you're over 12% body fat, so you're fat. No, no, no. When I say fat, I mean fat. I don't mean like, well, man, I ate so much at Thanksgiving, I gained an extra 5 pounds, man. Not that type of fat either. There's such a thing as having a husky build as a man with some muscle and being thick as a woman. Okay, these are different things. When I say fat, I mean a fat slob, fat bastard. And reality is, the average American is obese or nearly obese, something like that. The average American. So I'm talking to a lot of people right now. With all that being said, being a fat bastard is an abomination against God. Because think about it. It says in the Bible, your body is given to you as a temple. You should take care of it. How can you let your temple get to that state? And there's a lot of different ways you can decorate a temple. There's different ways you can do it. You can be a bodybuilder, you can be a fighter, this, that, and a third. There's a lot of different ways to treat your temple, and it's still good. I'm not here saying you can only treat your temple one way, but there's a lot of bad ways doing it as well. I'm talking to the bad ways, and this one specific way is just eating your way to being a fat pig. I think everyone deep down understands this, but some people just don't care enough to change things. Because this definition of fat I'm putting is inexcusable. And so people are like, whoa, you're eating disorders. Most of these people don't have eating disorders. There's no excuse to get to the level of fatness I'm talking about. There's no, how can you excuse that? You have to be a total degenerate to get to that level. Seriously. Most fat people don't have disorders. They just have degenerate habits. So, with all that being said, what would I do? Make me 300 pounds right now. What do I do? What would I do? To me, it's actually pretty simple. So first, I would fast. I'm already doing that, but intermittent fasting. And I'll throw out all of my junk food. Because the issue is not necessarily junk food. The issue is more so that junk food is very calorie dense. This is what part of losing weight is being smart. I think that's what it's mostly about. Because it's actually not that difficult in terms of like, oh, I'm hungry. You can get around that if you're just smart. So healthy food is more satiating and it's less calorie dense. So be able to eat less of it and still get full. Now some people say, well, what if you're poor? Okay. I would apply the same principle. The main point is you just don't eat super calorie dense food. You try to find food that it's a lot of it, but it's low calorie, as opposed to foods that are small and have a lot of calories. Because think of things like, what do unhealthy people eat? What do fat people usually eat? Stuff like McDonald's. And McDonald's burger, I don't know how much calories it is, but it's a lot for a burger, for a little burger, right? Now you can get a sandwich that's the same size as that burger, and it's half the calories. And you're probably still going to be as full afterwards. Things like that. Now next, this is a severely underrated thing, because a lot of people don't understand this either. They think, well, to lose weight, I have to run, I have to jog, I jog. Like, no, that's all inefficient. What you should do is just walk, because you can do it for basically forever, basically, right? So while you're watching YouTube, while you're watching Netflix, well, in this case, it's me. I'm watching YouTube. I don't watch Netflix or any of this other stuff. But if I was that type of person, anything I watch, I would get a floor treadmill and I would just walk on it. I would watch the thing instead of sitting down. Do that for a few hours a day. Any activity that can be done standing as opposed to sitting or laying down, I would do the floor treadmill walking. That alone could burn 600 calories, depending. Well, for me, that would burn a few hours. I could burn 600 plus calories. That would get me on the right track towards losing weight. The first few weeks, first few months, I would focus on dropping as much as possible without starving myself, obviously. Then for the last few months, I would slow it down a little bit. And of course, I would also weight train. So in reality, in practice, all that stuff's actually not that difficult. And you're like, whoa, that's really difficult. Like, that's what little Timmy does. Like, little Timmy's like, well, that's really difficult. It's like, no, I mean, the little Timmy mindset is that that's extremely difficult. And if anything worth accomplishing in life is far more difficult than what I just outlined. Now, what is difficult is trying to, without the treadmill and trying to eat the same foods, trying to eat less of it, just trying to, well, I gotta eat less. That's not gonna work because you're still gonna be hungry afterwards. The point is you need to get to the same level of satiation without the same level of calories. That's really what it's about, calories. And of course, you go on the treadmill. You're walking, so you're not Because the other thing about running and jogging is that jacks up your hunger levels. If you run, you're going to be hungry afterwards. If you run for like 10 minutes, you're going to be hungry, right? As opposed if you just walk for 2 hours, you're going to burn more calories, and you're also not going to need to eat extra food because you're not going to be hungry afterwards either. So that's another note about running and jogging. Weight loss is more just about being smart as opposed to willpower. Everyone just makes it a willpower thing. You just have to be smart about how you do it. So, with all that being said, being fat is an abomination against God.